I'm Ben from the Waterloo, Wisconsin Historical Society. Today we take a look at 123 South Monroe Street in historic Waterloo, Wisconsin.
Community Hall was built as a result of community-wide fundraising effort. In 1926, people were moving to Waterloo, the stores were developed, the school that was built was not large enough for graduation, was not large enough for basketball games, so they got together and said, I think we need a community building. This lady, Mercy Allen, Dr. Allen's wife, and that's her son in the picture. Mercy Allen was involved in the Women's Club. We also had Eastern Star. We had Royal Neighbors of America. We had the Lions Club. Lots of organizations. They wanted something to help the community. They found that working together, they can get a lot done. But they felt everybody, or nearly many folks, may possibly help in raising funds. We have a picture of what South Monroe looked like before the trench and the building plans were organized. So you can see it was quite rough. It's quoted in a 1924 Billboard magazine. How can a town of 1,262 inhabitants build a $225,000 park? Well, it's because of the community spirit.
And that same spirit went right into building this community hall.
Correct.
So this was really the heart of the community. It was community fundraised, community built by community contractors. The community held a zillion different functions there. Something ended up happening to Community Hall, didn't it?
Yes. As the years went by, people moved away, some stores closed, and eventually the building became worn down. Basketball games were played in the new school. Reunions were held in other places. But eventually it went into disrepair. And the wonderful, as we said, heartbeat of this community
Stopped.
Well, Ben, good to have you here.
Well, it's nice to be here. We're in the old community hall.
Yes, that's right. 1926 it was constructed by folks from the country and folks from town that got together. They felt they needed something where, kind of an all-purpose place.
The building took a kind of a sour path at some point in its life.
Yep.
And although at one time it was the pulse of the town, it kind of flatlines a little bit there.
Right.
So here we are in the basement. Is this it seems like a pub style down here?
That's the idea, is an English pub. The bar, we actually made out of the old doors around when we had to replace them with fire doors.
Oh, wow.
For fire safety, we thought, well, we should use those doors. And so we made the bar out down here. When we bought the building in 2017, there was no electrical to the building, no water from the city, no natural gas for heating. We put up some new walls and recovered walls and things, so we were able to put in some new electrical. We replaced all the windows in the building. Well, there were a lot of them that were broken out, first of all. And I looked at restoring them particularly up in the auditorium upstairs, and it just wasn't feasible.
Sure.
So, and these work much better, and we've repurposed a couple of them down here.
Yeah, they look really, really cool. And it's a great way to pay tribute to those old original pieces.
Put a new roof on. Thought I could repair it, couldn't. Put a new roof on, and then we had it tuck pointed because there were some bricks that were loose, and that pretty much sealed up the building. In the auditorium itself, there was pretty severe damage to the plaster up on the stage and above on the windows side. Really replastered the whole room.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big project. And then we had the floors done. They used it as a basketball court.
Sure.
After it was sold, they used it more for heavy stuff and damaged a lot of the maple flooring.
Sure.
So that had to be repaired and refinished.
There's so many things that you've done.
Yeah, as we continued the process, we decided to replace the rickety old deck outside the auditorium and put in a 53-foot by 8-foot deck so that people can be out there with the windows open. They're still part of the party. We had to get some fire doors, so we went to Minneapolis to an architectural salvage company. And as we were checking out, they had a picture of a chandelier that was in another building that they owned. We thought, that would be perfect for the center of the auditorium. And then right next to it was a bar, which had a beautiful back bar and the bar itself. And that bar came from Stillwater, Minnesota. It was originally in a brewery from 1886, but then in 1909 there was a fire and they were able to save the top of the back bar, the upper part of the back bar, and it fit perfectly into the building.
It looks like it was made for the
Yeah.
space. So it still says Community Hall up on the facade outside on the building, but your business is the venue at the river's edge. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Correct. My son and I run a wedding venue out of the building, and it works out great for that. In addition to weddings, we do some fundraising for private organizations, and we've had parties for businesses locally, and we'd like to get the building used a lot. After I had purchased the building, I messed around for a year fixing some of the windows and things like that. I found I wasn't a glazer, and my skill level was limited in construction. So
Mine too.
fortunately, my brother Doug, who's a carpenter, retired, and so I invited him over to help me work for a week to do a few things, and a year and a half later we kind of finished up. So he was here a long time and had some great ideas. Time and money, that's all it took. So
Oh, is that all?
yeah.
You think about so many old dances and recitals and commencements and graduations and weddings, plays,
And even movies back in the
movies, and a rifle range in the basement.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, this was really the place to be.
Yeah.
So now it is again.
Well, very fortunate to have it.
What I learned at the Historical Society might not be anything you don't already know, but what I can tell you is that this town is immensely thankful that you've revived
Thank you.
the old building, and it's such just a showstopper. It's beautiful. Well, the old community hall is in such fantastic shape now that I've no doubt it'll be making memories for the next 100 years. The envy of every small city in the state. Perhaps equally as cool as the revival part is the reminder of the incredible power of community spirit. 123 South Monroe Street. Thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing to our little YouTube channel here. We plan on featuring more businesses around town as we look at Waterloo, Wisconsin, then and now.